11:30.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Janmadhyasya Yatonmayaditarasya Artheshvabhignaswarat Tene Brahmarudhaya Adikavaye Mrhyantiyam Surayah Tejo Varimurdam Yatha Vinimaya Yatrati Sargo Mrisham Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastakuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. This is the fifth day of the Canto entire Bhagavatam. We started in Canto 3, that is the Skanda 3. Out of 33 chapters, we covered few. And during this discussion, it is a Bhagavata is totally nested story, as I mentioned earlier. We started with Parikshit Raja and Shukamuni discussion, then the Narada Brahma discussion, and then now we're in a place where Vidura and Maitreya are discussing about the universe, the creation, the Karunya of Bhagavan, how he creates. Same questions Vidura has with Maitreya that uh, Parikshit Raja has with Shukamuni. So now Shukamuni is referencing, saying that, hey, there was a discussion between Vidura and Maitreya. It happened so. Then he started talking about why the creation happens, the questions, what is this universe about, what is the time, and all those things. So Vidura is, we left at a point that Vidura had a few more questions, like he was asking about how the time calculation happens. Does time exist before Bhagavan comes? All those things, and he's very much interested in knowing the creation, how the world is created. Then we discussed about Navavidha Srushti. Then in that we are identified around 10 steps in last session. That is when it is a slumber for Bhagavan. That means there was no creation period. It goes for 100 years of 100 years of Brahma without any creation, and only Vishnu exists alone, and it is a slumber period. He is in Yoga Nidra, and he then after 87.5 years he opens up his eyes and thinks, okay, I should start creating. 12.5 Brahma years it takes to manifest the Ahankara Tattva, Mahat Tattva, all Tattvas and Tattva Abhimani Devatas and all those things. At the 100th day, or maybe the first day of Brahma's birth, Brahma is born after this slumber. Brahma looks around. This is what we discussed in the last session. Just a recap. Brahma comes out of the this lotus, 14 petal lotus. 14 petals represent 14 lokas. So he comes out and looks around, and it is quite dark. The darkness is that's what in Bhagavata they write. Brahma is scared, and he looks around, and then he starts what to do kind of thing. Suddenly he hears two words, tapa tapa. Then he starts meditating. That all we discussed about these things. Then he, after that, 50 years gone, Purva Prardhe, right? Dvitiya Prardhe. First Prardha is over. Now, if you will remember your Gayatri, the Sandhyavandana mantras, Dvitiya Prardhe Shri Shweta Varaha Kalpi. So, Dvitiya Prardha starts the day of 51 year first day. That's what we are in, Brahma's 51 year first day. Then that is the time Brahma, okay, he decides. Then Bhagavan, Brahma goes to the Vaikuntha and he looks at there and he prays Bhagavan, and then Sri Vishnu says, go ahead and start the creation. For before Brahma starts creation, Brahmanda was created. That means all the, if we looked at those three things, right, the Rajas, Tamas, first one was converted into three, like Karya, Karana, Kartru, Bhuta, Indriya, Manasu, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. That became into five. That is five Panchendriya, five Karmendriya, five Jnanendriyas, all those things. Prapancha became, one became into Prapancha. That is 24 Tattvas got created because of Sattvika Guna. Manasu got created, Ahankara got created by Rajasa, Sukshma and space and all this earth and everything is created through the Tamas Gunas. this Panchabhuta Srushti happened. That means there was earth created. Now Brahma was asked to start creation of the rest of the universe. So that's where we left, and the 10 types of creation we discussed last time. So now what is happening? This is entire thing happening is a cyclic in nature. This is not only one Brahma for us. There are several Brahmas have happened and gone, and this is one of the Brahmas. So that way, if you look into the entire universe, they say this is the seventh Manvantara. That is, then Maitreya gives a calculation of the time, how it happens and all those things. So in that he says there are 71 Manvantaras in one Kalpa. That is one day of Brahma. That is almost 1,000 Chaturyugas. Then each yuga, yuga, like Kali Yuga is what? Kali Yuga is around uh, 432,000 years, our years, not Brahma's years, 432,000 years of our samvatsaras, right? You know what is the samvatsara this time, right? Uh, Similarly, every time this samvatsara repeats, there are 60 samvatsaras, they keep repeating. Prabhava, Vibhava kind of thing. So like this samvatsaras, 4,322,000 samvatsaras happens, one yuga, Kali Yuga happens. Kali Yuga, Dwapara Yuga is twice as Kali Yuga. That means it is two times of that. That means 8,000, 8,060, 864,000, 864,000 our years is equal to one Dwapara Yuga. And three times of Kali Yuga is Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga is 1,263,000 years. Similarly, 1728,000 years of human years is equal to one Kruta Yuga. So totally, it is 1:2:3:4 combination. One Chaturyuga is equal to two Dwapara Yuga, two Dwapara, one three Kali Yuga equal to one Treta Yuga, and four Kali Yuga equal to one Satya Yuga. Like that, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. So total combination of 10 into 432,000 years equal to one Chaturyuga. So this Chaturyugas, 71, they have to happen 71 times to replace one Manu. One Manvantara means 71 Chaturyugas. Each Chaturyuga is 10 times the Kali Yuga's number of years. So he gives the very beautiful calculation up to the seconds, microseconds. That we may discuss. I will send a small flyer which will have the calculation from minute to microsecond to up to Kalpa. That you can we can keep next week in front of you, and then we can think through this. But now for the time being, we can assume 71 Chaturyugas equal to one Manvantara, that one Manu. Now there are 14 Manus happen in one day of Brahma. That is 4 Manvantaras is equal to one Kalpa. That is one day of Brahma. So if you calculate all these things, it is 4.32 million years, I think billion years, equal to one day, half day of Brahma. That is night is again equal amount of time. It is exactly, if you go and Google age of Earth, it gives the 4.5 million years or billion years it gives. So that means the calculation, whatever happens here in Bhagavata, is scientifically very near. One is 4.5, another is 4.32, because we may miscalculating the Sandhikala and all those things. Maybe scientists may make the mistakes of carbon dating, all those things. So anyways, whatever that, the reason I'm saying this is, whatever is that is given in Bhagavatam, the calculation of the time that the creation of the Srushti happened. I'm not talking about creation of the cosmos. Cosmos got created once in one Brahma's lifetime. 100 years of Brahma. This is, I'm talking about one Kalpa, one half day of Brahma. That is the time the Srushti happens, all the remaining Srushti creation happens. So my intention here is to say it is a cyclic in nature. That's what Bhagavatam says. It keeps repeating. There have been so many Brahmas happened, and so many kalpas happened. This is continuous. So we did discuss last time that the cause and effect relation. Bhagavan is the cause of all the causes, so he is part of entire creation. He exists in anus, he exists in mahat. So because of him everything is holding. So that awareness, Brahma, Vishnu talks to Brahma saying that as long as Brahma requests, you are asking me to create the universe and I became abhimana of that, like I become egoistic. I don't want to be that. So please I don't want to do this kind of work because I want to be your servant and always. But he says, no, 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 this is not the only. You have to attain moksha, that is true, but in the same process, you have to do this karma of creation. Please do. Only thing is, remember, do not get attached to your creation. It is not done by you, it is done by me. That is Bhagavan. So, this is a simple lesson for all of us who read Bhagavatam. That's what is told to Brahma is the same message to us. Never ever think we are doing anything ourselves. That is Naham Karta, Harir Karta, Hi Kevalam should be mantra always in our mind. That's how the Bhagavatam helps us to think, get into that mode of thinking that Naham Karta, Harir Karta is the concept. Now, some people may ask, there is a that means there is no free will. Are we not making decisions? Are we not making choices? This is a little debatable thing. So we will not enter into that much. There is a Datta Swatantra Sandhi in case of Harikatamrita Sara, which talks about how much Swatantra each one has. And there is a scholars who says there is no Tattva Swatantra at all because everything is Naham Karta, Harir Karta, Hi Kevalam. So what I understand, that means just to move further is we have freedom in choices but no freedom in the results. That's where is the Dattva Swatantra must be there talking about freedom in making choices, good, bad kind of thing, but we don't know the outcome. So outcome is left to Bhagavan. Same thing was mentioned in Karmanye Vadikaraste Maphaleshu Kadachana in Bhagavad Gita. So same thing. So let us assume that part and continue on the rest of the discussion. Datta Swatantra will put it on the back burner now. Then here when Bhagavan created all these tattvas and he created the tattva abhimani devatas with each. Kattalu, the entire darkness that was there was represented by Durga Devi. So Durga Devi is the responsible goddess for the darkness. So similarly, when he created Mahat responsible god is Brahma. Ahankara Tattva, Shiva is responsible for that. And Manasu, Shiva is responsible. For eyes, is Indra is responsible. For the mouth, Agni is responsible. For ears, again Chandra is responsible. For the nostrils, the nose, nostrils, Ashwini Devata is responsible. Like that, there is a Bhagavan's creation has happened with a tattva followed assigned with a devata who is responsible. So by praying those devatas, we can attain whatever. If you want to walk siddhi, so Agni Sukta and Agni mantras, if you keep, maybe Saraswati is also part of that combination. That is combination of that. If we keep doing that, we get that attain those things. Same thing with all the manas and other things. If we dedicate our focus and meditate upon those particular devata, then we get achievement in those kind of areas. So that is the one more concept that in Bhagavata they give. Each tattva has its abhimani devate. Just mere existence of eyeball is not sufficient to see the picture that we see, right? Some people have the eyeballs, but they are blind. Some people have everything. Eyeball is there, there is a light to fall on an object that you can see, but in the mind, in the brain, the place where the vision is responsible, that is blocked, then also they cannot see. So even though if they can see, if manas doesn't understand what is the vision, what is that they see, then also you cannot see. So that means there is a, if we say just eye, and if you look at the mechanism of the eye, there is so many things involved. Even that is also called tattva abhimani devate. If he is not there, or if he is uh, against us, that thing doesn't work. So that's what we see in our day-to-day life. Somebody doesn't have ear, somebody doesn't have um, mind, somebody, that means lunatic, somebody must be not able to see, kind of all those things, not able to talk. All this is because of the Tattvabhimani Devatas, and that can be maybe it is all dependent on karma and so many other concepts there. So let us, the purpose of here discussion here is Bhagavatam talks about the Tattvabhimani Devatas are created with tattvas, 24 tattvas, which are the material for building the universe. Just by putting the cement and conquers and stones, everything together, keeping there, and if you expect it to build, it won't build, right? Somebody must have it, the kartru has to be there. So that is where Brahma is brought to use those tattvas and take the jivas and start the creation. So that's how the creation starts with Brahma. Now Brahma is ready to create. The first thing Brahma creates is by mistake. They say by mistake he created 5 avidya. Those 5 avidyas are tamas, moha, mahamoha, tamishra, andhatamishra. Tamas is also represents darkness, but here it is the, we consider it as confusion, not knowing the things, ignorance. He creates these 5 things, get created first. The first creation of Brahma is this. By mistake he did. Then he realizes, oh my god, I created this, but it is not a mistake. There is a purpose behind this. That's what Bhagavatam explains. But first, let us understand what is tamas. Tamas is nothing but ignorance, where not knowing about a particular thing. But moha is misunderstanding something. Not understanding is better, but misunderstanding is worse, right? So now it is moha is misunderstanding about the something. Then mahamoha is misunderstanding about something, but thinking that is the only right thing. That means you misunderstand about something, then you decide, okay, that is the right thing. What I understood is the right thing. First of all, it is a misunderstanding. Second thing, your duragraha is there, saying that what I understood is the right. That is mahamoha. Then comes the tamishra, misunderstanding about the yathartha, and thinking about that as it is the only way. Then third thing is getting angry if somebody says no, you are wrong. You get angry. That is a kopa combination. That it means tamishra includes mahamoha plus kopa. Mahamoha includes moha plus duragraha. And then the fifth one is andhatamishra. Andhatamishra is dvesha. Not only get angry, decide to kill the person. Now, I don't take any specific names or anything in this discussion, but you have seen in the world some followers of something. They think what we think is the right about this, then they get angry if we say it is wrong. Then they decide to kill the other people if they don't follow their principles. So that is the andhata mishra. Now the question comes, why this is created? The entire creation of Brahma includes 3 kind of people as per the Tattva Sankhya. One is who by birth, who can take the birth and get processed in the evolution process, and their consciousness grows and increases and becomes positive, and they become self-realized, and then God realization, then go to the moksha. But there are some other group of jivas which will take birth. They go against everything. They fight. They get into these five avidyas. They decide they go to the andhatamas. That is their moksha. It is nothing wrong. It is their nature, so they need to go to andhatamas. One kind of people, they go to light. Which is right, which is wrong, we are not questioning here. The nature of the jivas is like that. Some take birth and go moksha in the right direction, some take moksha in left direction, which we can call it as andhatamas. And there are some kind of jivis who come into this world, do right thing, wrong thing, everything, but again they take rebirth. They are called nitya samsaris. So this is explained in case of tattva sankhyan. Same thing, if we take that information, apply in Bhagavatam, then now we come to know why these five things get created. This is the mechanism of this avidya, to separate out, weed out the person who goes to andhatamas, the person who goes to moksha, the persons, not the person, the jivas which goes to nitya samsara cycle. That is the mechanism. Now question comes, what about, see, everyone, we take birth on this earth, and if we are affected by this, what is going to happen for a person who is supposed to get into moksha but he doesn't get because of this this avidya is impacting them, right? So that is the time, there is the explanation for that. So there are gods who are representative for that. That is Naga, Kurma, Kukala, Devadatta and Dhananjaya. Naga is responsible for tamas, Kurma is responsible for moha, Krukala is responsible Mahamoha, Devadatta is responsible Tamishra, Dhananjaya. So if we are aware, we don't have to take their names, but if we are aware and doing the things which makes those devatas happy, that means you will be not impacted by this, not impacted by this and the five avidyas. So that's what in everyday we do, in case in everyday sandhya vandana we do this, right? What is that mantra? I am not getting that. So Shri Govinda Govindo, not that. Tarjini Abhyanama. Those some mantras we say to make sure we are not impacted by this five. If I remember, I will come back and talk about that. We say that mantra every day, but we don't remember. We don't know what we are saying because we just like a tape recorder. Sometimes we do, but that is the meaning of that. Like we don't want to be touched by this avidya. Don't make me ignorant. Then don't make me uh, misunderstand somebody, or don't make me duragraha. That means let me not be always think egoistic. Let me not get angry. Let me not hate others. These are the things an everyday practice we do just to keep ourselves distance from these avidyas. So after those avidya get created, then Bhagavan thinks, okay, I should create somebody else. If you look into the creation of the universe, first creation from Brahma happens is avidya. Then the second creation is four saints. That's called Sanaka Sanandadis. They are the Sanat Kumara, Sanandana, and Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara. Like four sages get created. So these are all Manasa Putras. There is no material used. Brahma thinks of them and they appear they are called Manasa Putras. They get created and Brahma says, guys, you need to start the universe creation. He doesn't know where to start, so he created them from Manasa. But these guys are smart devatas. They say, no, we are not born to involve in this performing karma. We want to get out of this cycle. They made their mind, they get out. Brahma feels very bad. What is happening? They are not listening to me. Then in that anger borns another person, is called Rudra. The reason he is called Rudra is, as soon as he takes birth, he starts crying. So that's why they call him as Rudra. So now let us see who are these Sanat Kumara, Sanaka Sanandadi, four brothers. They are young, they are sannyasis by birth. They decide take the sannyas and go. These are the people who come in Chandogya Upanishad mantras, the question and answer session. So they are all attained souls, so they already know. Maybe they must have been in the previous kalpa and they attained some high level, and they are born here uh, in this kalpa. So now they go to, these are the four brothers who go to Vaikunta to meet Vishnu. There, Jaya Vijaya, the Dwarapalakas are there, who do not allow these four guys inside because Vishnu is resting. That these guys get angry. Though they are so realized souls, still they get angry. And they give the shapa to these two guys, saying that you are acting like human beings. Just take birth as human beings for 7 lives. Then they starts begging, no, no, please don't do that. Then Vishnu appears, comes there, seeing these four sannyasis, and he says, okay, if they have given the shapa, we cannot have it. Even Vishnu cannot uh, take it out. He says we can alter. There is always a mechanism of alter in Bhagavatam. In the God's creation, you have see you can reduce. That's where the we do this yagna and mantra japa tapa to reduce the impact. It's not to avoid, but it will reduce. So that's what happens in case of here Jaya Vijaya also, saying that instead of taking birth as 7 lives in earth as Vishnu bhaktas, do you want that way, or you want to take only 3 births as enemies to me? Finally, the result is you'll come back to as Jaya Vijaya again. But the karma you have to do is either as enemies or as a friends. They decide, oh, instead of staying 7 lives away from you, we better take birth as enemies for 3 lives and come back. So that's how the Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, and other guys like in in Dwapara Yuga and all the three yugas. I will tell those names which 3 avatars they took when it comes to the Hiranyakashipu story. These are the 4 brothers who are responsible for that story. Now the universe is created. Brahma has created Manasaputras. There is a earth that needs to be brought. That is the material. Now everything is cement and concrete and everything is ready. He has to start building. He's looking for somebody to do. But these 4 guys said no. Then Rudra appeared. Rudra is now, Brahma thinks, Rudra, go ahead and create. But Rudra says, Rudra says left and right he starts creating. But he creates all bhutas. Because the amount of people he took for as jivas are all the bhutagana. Then no. Brahma says no, stop doing this. Go and meditate. You don't have to create. Then uh, then he doesn't know what to do. Brahma. Then he thinks of another set of Manasaputras. 10 another putras he give birth. Those are called Marichi, Atri, Angirasa, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrugu, Vasishta, Daksha, Narada. So these 10 people he created as a Manasaputras again. They are not born out of out of any material. These are the called Prajapatis. These are called the Saptarushis. As I mentioned, this is the cyclic in nature. Every Brahma in his creation create these 10 guys are created. They are different people. It is not the same Jiva is born as Marichi, same Jiva is born as Atri. No. This is a new Jiva taking the role of that person's. Marichi, Atri, Angirasa. Like same case with Jaya Vijaya, same case with Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. All these things, all these Jivas, every completion of the Kalpa, this is a process of reincarnation of somebody in a different position. Like I did mention in the last one, current Brahma is called Viranchi, current Indra is called Purandara. These are the actual Jivas. They get promoted. When they get moksha, they will never come back. Somebody else will be there. Whoever is Marut is doing the Vayudeva now will become the Brahma. In the ಸತ್ಯ ಜಗಕ್ಕಿದು ಪಂಚಭೇದವು poem by Purandaradasaru. He says, Namma Vayu Devare Brahmaru. That means in future our Vayu Deva is going to be Brahma. So like that. And they also, some school of thought, they say Vadiraja is going to be Bhavi Samindra, Bhavi Samira. That means the Vadiraja's position person who lived and recently, that means 200, 300 years back, is ready to become the Vayu's position. Like that. They think somehow, I don't know whether, is there a proof for that? I don't know. But somebody say that. So we should not debate on that, continue on. But this is understanding is, the entire thing is a cyclic in nature. So now these Sanat Kumaras are born and the Shiva is gone, and now the 10 set of these people are born. Still he cannot create, he wants to set up automatic mechanism so that things get created automatically. So now here I stop and talk about some other thing which is a scientific in nature. I was reading a book called Grand Design. Here Stephen Hawking is trying to answer the questions: when and how the universe begin, why are we here, what is the nature of reality. All these questions he is trying to answer in this book. It is almost parallel discussion kind of thing. In this he talks about multiverse. A multiverse is nothing but a quantum theory prediction which talks about there is not only one universe, there are multiple universes. And he goes by saying each universe is governed by different laws and all those things he talks. And he calls it as a M theory, tries to explain in his own way the scientific approach. But what I was feeling is, when I'm reading this, half the way I'm not completed it. When I'm reading it, I'm thinking, is he not trying to understand Bhagavatam? Why can't guys read Bhagavatam? It has already explained how long it takes, what is the how long time in the matter of time. And also they give the dimension of the universe in Bhagavatam. Dimension in the form of yojanas. 50,000 yojana. Earth is so much big. After that there are 7 layers, and each layer is 10 times bigger than each layer. They give very, very much calculation. If anyone interested can get into that and find the calculations and exactly give the entire blueprint of what is created and how it gets created and when it happens. All those things are there in Bhagavatam very clearly. So now the Srushti should happen, but then Brahma starts deciding to create the universe he starts from his from hand, from arm. See, if you look at, first he started thinking about Manasa creation, then he started thinking from his body. From right hand side somebody takes birth. I will talk about who are those taking birth. Then left hand side somebody takes birth, and leg, right leg, left leg. He starts creating those Prajapatis and others. He creates around 16 people out of that. Still he cannot set the automated process of creating. Then finally it comes to a point, he creates Manu from one of his body parts, then Shatarupa Devi from his Manas. Then he decides, okay, only technique is Mithuna creation, that is a sexual creation. There are two. If we look into the biology of the reproduction, there is a asexual reproduction, there is a sexual reproduction, 2 types. Then in that case we see autogamy, oogamy, all those things, right? If somebody has read biology, you can go and look into that number of reproductions without like cells dividing themselves. That's what Brahma did. He took from his arm, he took from his leg. It is a creation of Brahma itself. Like, it is part of the Brahma DNA. It is not a multi variety. Then he decided, okay, 2 different people, one is Manasaputra and one is body part, and then they combine, let them do the sexual creation, that is a Mithuna creation. then there will be variety, because more people, more variety, combination, 50-50 combination of chromosomes. That's how the Srushti starts. Now, if I go to the biology, there is a science called origin of life, produced and reproduced organisms from non-reproducing elements. This science is called abiogenesis. If you Google this abiogenesis, you'll come to know how they tried to find out who was the first or the maybe last universal ancestor to all of us. They tried to do the carbon dating. What is the first one on the earth lived? They say it happened 3.8 billion years ago. If I take 4.32 billion years of Bhagavata for one Manvantara, minus the Sandhikala, where Sanat Kumaras got created, then Shiva got created, then these 10 Prajapatis got created. If you minus that, it may come to 3.8 billion years. What is the science is talking about? So the reason I bring always science here is to make people who are on the threshold of believing Bhagavata, not believing Bhagavata, just to give a perspective, saying that okay, this can be approached by scientific way also. So this is where I want to stop. Now next we'll continue what happened with Shatarupa Devi and Manu, how many kids were born, who became what. Now the Sanat Kumara, Sanandar Kumara have gave the curse to these guys, the Jaya Vijaya, or they take birth as the Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. That story will come in the next session when we discuss. And one more point I will make before I complete. The Varahavatara, where killing of the Hiranyaksha happened twice. And first one happened 7 Manvantaras before. The current Manu is Manvantara is called Manu, right? Vaivasvata Manu. We call it as Vaivasvata Manvantare. Vaivasvata Manu is the name of the responsible Manu. Before that, there were 7 more Chakshusha. There are 7 Manvantara names. If you can, Raivata, Chakshusha, like that, there are 7 happened. 7 more to happen, because 14 Manvantaras will result into 1 Kalpa. So there are 7 Manus have gone, 6 Manus have gone, 7th one is Vaivasvata Manu. The Varahavatara happened in first Manvantara also. That is called Shweta Varaha. That time when Brahma starts creating, he tries to find where is the earth. It is not in his orbit. He tries to bring that into orbit. Then then Bhagavan comes as a Varahavatara. He fights with that demon, brings the orbit in, keeps the earth in a particular orbit where it becomes habitable. The earth becomes habitable when they put them in the it is called habit zone, habitable zone or something like that. And I will talk about that, how this earth gets tilted because of the rogue planets and all that is again physics. In the next one we'll talk about rogue planets, how they changed. There is a science behind this. They say, scientists say that 2 times earth got moved away from the orbit, because of one of the reason the earth is tilted 23 degree is because of the rogue planets. It happened twice, and 2 times Bhagavan came as a Varahavatara, protected the earth. One is the Sri Varaha Kalpa, which is Shweta Varaha Kalpa. The now current one happened is Black Varaha Kalpa, Neela Varaha Kalpa. So twice the earth got depositioned from the orbit, when it becomes not habitable kind of thing. Then every time it is brought back, and the Srushti Kriya starts. In this Manu creation, Srushti Kriya started just now, as we are discussing. Shatarupa Devi and Manu are born. Now let us see what they do and who else will take birth. I'll stop here. And since we are at the program end, are there any questions that we can discuss, or anything that we can have in a group chat or something? We can do that. Let me know.